Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another week of yoga. Sending that right foot back. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Alexis Faye Yoga. I'm so very glad and very blessed that you decided to join me today. For today's class, we're going to do a detox yoga. So focusing on any energies that may be blocked or stuck in the body. We'll move the lymphatic system around and help a little bit moving the digestion with some twists and some compression of the core. Go ahead and find your mountain pose. Bringing feet to a comfortable place beneath the hips or just past the hips. We'll pick the toes up, spread them out wide before setting them back down. Lifting the tall spine, bringing the ears over the shoulders. We'll open the palms out in front of the body. Taking a few seconds here to ground yourself in this space. To ground yourself in your practice. Take a few deep breaths in and release them out to the mouth. We'll do a mental scan of the body as we continue to breathe deep here. Starting at the very tips of the toes and making our way all the way to the very top of the head. Noticing if there's any areas that we may feel a little blocked. Maybe areas that we're feeling tension or tightness. Or it may show up in the stomach as a little bit of feeling sluggish or slow. With our next big breath in, we'll reach the arms up tall to the ceiling. And then drop the fingertips to the shoulders. Starting to wake up the shoulders and the upper back. We'll engage through the core and swim the arms forward. Reversing directions, swimming the elbows back behind. Maybe getting a little bit more movement through the back, through the core, through the hips. Taking both elbows up to the ceiling, maybe adding a little bit of a back bend, taking the eyes a little bit higher on the wall in front of you. Bringing the arms down. We'll heel toe the feet out a little bit further and move towards our happy elephants. This is a great way to move the lymphatic system around. So instead of letting the arms float, this time we'll let them come around the body and give a little bit of a tap. Letting the arms run out of momentum, coming to rest by our side. We'll bring the feet in just a little bit. Pick up the toes, spread them out wide before setting them down. Lift the shoulders up to the ears, so we can send them back and down the spine. Taking another big breath in. And as we release it out, we'll swan dive the body forward. Nodding the head, yes. Shaking the head, no. Being kind to yourself in this pose, this first forward fold of the day. Maybe pedaling out the legs, or wiggling out through the hips or the spine, or even the top of the head. Taking a few moments here. We're going to ragdoll our way back up to standing, starting at the very base of the spine, moving slowly, rolling one vertebrae up past the next, pulling the stomach in, so we can really roll those lower spine. And then lifting the head and neck last, rolling the shoulders back a few times. Inhale, taking the arms up. Exhale, swan diving forward. Inhale, rolling up the spine. Take your time. Inhale, taking the arms up. We'll bring them back around the body. We can interlock the fingers. We can grab for opposite elbows. Gently pulling the shoulder blades into the spine. And again, being gentle here. We've only just started to warm up the shoulders. With an inhale, we'll lift the chest a little higher, finding a baby back bend. And an exhale, hinging at the waist, forward fold. Now we can keep the hands to the low back here, still pulling those shoulder blades up. Or we can take the hands up overhead, reaching them towards the ceiling. Taking a breath or two. Now we'll bring the hands in towards the back so we can then drop them down towards the floor. Inhale, finding a half high with the arms out in front of the body. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rolling up the spine. This will be our first flow. Continuing this a few times. Inhale, taking the arms up. Exhale, taking the arms behind. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to fold. Inhale, dropping the hands. Exhale, releasing them down. Inhale, out in front, engaging through the core, reaching through the fingertips. Exhale to fold. Taking a breath in and a breath out. Next breath in, rolling up the spine. Inhale, reaching tall. Exhale, bringing the hands behind. Inhale, baby back bend. Exhale to fold. Inhale, drop the hands to the back. Exhale, release them forward. Inhale, half high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up the spine. Taking your time. And rolling the shoulders back and down a few times. We'll wiggle out through the body. Making our way to the back of our mats with a big breath in, reaching the arms up. Exhale, circling the arms around, interlocking the fingers. Inhale, baby back bend. Exhale, bringing the eyes forward, releasing the hands. We'll take them down towards the legs. And then take them one step further out in front of the toes. Sending the hips up and back behind. Wiggle out the hips. We'll take the hands another step out in front of the feet. Walking them up towards the top of our mat. And making our way to a plank pose. Spreading the fingertips out nice and wide, pressing down. Now we can drop the knees towards the mat, or we can keep the legs lifted. We're going to shift forward slightly, bringing the elbows in towards the ribcage, and lowering the stomach towards the floor. Inhale to a baby cobra. Exhale to soften. Tucking the toes up and back for our down dog. We can pedal out the legs, or we can wiggle out the hips, or do a combination of them all. Playing with this pose, Again, this is the first down dog of our practice. So being gentle with yourself. Now we'll drop the top of the head towards the floor so we can look back at the toes. Shifting forward, keeping the eyes looking back until we're up towards the hands, looking the eyes out towards the top of the mat, softening the knees towards the floor, shifting the hips back towards the heels, and then extending the legs long. Tucking the chin, looking back to the back of the mat, shifting forward, taking the eyes forward, dropping the knees, shifting back, extending the legs, and one more time, rolling forward and sliding back, extending the legs, and we'll bring the hands one step closer in towards the toes so we can drop the knees to the mat. Untucking the toes. With an in breath, we'll take the eyes and the tailbone up, lowering the stomach towards the floor. Exhale, arching the spine up towards the ceiling, rolling the chin towards the chest and the tailbone under. Back and forth with our cat-cows. Coming back through our tabletop, and we'll send the hips behind towards the heels. It is up to you whether you'd like to have your legs together for our child's pose or to separate the knees. We'll soften the abdomen, soften the chest towards the floor, and bring the forehead towards the mat or to a stack of the hands. With another in breath, lifting the chest up tall, stacking the ears over the shoulders. We can bring the knees back in if they're separated. And we're gonna sit here on the heels for a second or two, strengthening and stretching out the fronts of the knees and up the quads. Now we have an option to circle the legs around and sit crisscross applesauce or in a lotus pose, or we can stay seated on our calves, on our heels. Finding an option that's comfortable for you today. We're going to find a little bit of a side sway. So taking our left hand down towards the floor beside us, we'll take the right arm up and over the body. Cartwheeling the arms, switching sides. We can move back and forth at whatever pace feels right to you. You can breathe in as you lift tall, exhale to soften towards the side, or you can make the movement one full breath, or whatever pace feels right. Movements like this wake up our obliques as we pull ourselves back up, and our intercostal muscles, those muscles between the rib cage. So we're working on a little bit of our core containment here, starting to move the abdomen around, which will help with digestion. We'll add a little bit of twists in here soon, and those are my favorite. Beautiful. Coming back up, bringing the ears over the shoulders again. If you're sitting tall on your calves, you can bring the legs around. And we'll take the legs out in front, lengthening them and softening them down. Giving a wiggle out to the legs before pointing the toes up to the ceiling. So we want to find engagement all the way up the knees and the calves to the hip flexors. So to do that, we lift the feet up so they're pointed straight to the ceiling. You'll notice that your kneecaps will pull up towards the body. You'll start to feel a flex through your calves or through your quads. And we'll sit a little bit taller to really focus on those hip flexors. Now we can stay here, focusing on our breath, reaching the top of the head tall. Or we can take the arms up as well and focus on the muscles of the back. Here we're just gonna breathe. With each in-breath, focusing on sitting a little bit taller, reaching the fingers a little higher, the top of the head a little higher. Making sure that our ears stay over our shoulders. We're not reaching forward to get those hands up. We're lengthening out through the top of the spine. And with our exhale, we'll slowly soften the chest forward, finding our seated forward fold. First, we're going to keep the spine lifted by keeping the chin up. So long from the tailbone up through the top of the head. And with our next exhale, we'll roll through the spine, dropping the chin towards the chest, rolling up, and softening the forehead or the chin towards the legs. With another in-breath, we'll ragdoll our way up, dragging the hands along with us, rolling one vertebrae past the next, and lifting the top of the head last. Go ahead and roll back onto your mat. We'll lift the hips up off the mat, tucking them under, and setting the back down so we have a nice flat back. And we'll take both legs up to the ceiling. So we have an option to hold onto the backs of the legs here. We can put a bend to the legs, whatever feels right. Playing out with the legs a little bit. We'll point and flex the toes, circle out the ankles. This can also be done up against a wall if you find it a little more difficult to keep your legs up, or if you want to stay in this pose for longer. We'll bring the left knee into the chest, softening the right leg all the way long and dropping it down to the floor. Squeezing that left knee into the chest. We can rock it side to side, or we can circle out the hips. We'll bring that left knee across the right side of our body to find a gentle twist. Bring that left knee back in, rolling onto the back. And then switching legs. Left leg goes long. Right leg comes in. Same as the other side. We'll really squeeze that right leg into the body. We can rock it side to side. Or we can circle out the hip. Or whatever feels right. Now taking that right knee across the left side of the body. And again, a gentle twist on this side. We'll hug that right knee back into the chest, bringing the left knee up as well, hugging both in. You can lift the head off the mat, bringing the chin to the chest, rolling into a ball, or you can keep the back of the head down on the mat. We'll roll side to side, or forward and back, really squeezing those knees into the chest. And now we're rocking ourselves forward and back so that we can lift up, seated on our back. Now we're going to rock ourselves forward and back so we can come up to a seated position. Taking the hands around to the side of the body to help lift us back up to standing. Finding that mountain pose again, and then taking the feet a few scooches wider. We're gonna end out with some more happy elephants. Now you can leave the arms up to float around or bring them around to tap the body. Moving around any extra energy or anywhere else that may be stuck here in the body. Slowly letting the arms run out of momentum, bringing the feet into a comfortable spot. Lifting through the top of the head, bringing the ears over the shoulders and the palms out in front of the body. Take a few more deep breaths. Re-grounding, pressing down through the feet. And once more, we'll do a mental scan through the body, starting at the very tips of the toes, all the way out through the very top of the head. Noticing here if there's still any areas of tension or tightness, or any areas that need a little extra love today. Or notice if you feel tingly or warm through the body. If you feel that energy, that fresh blood pumping through again. Thank you so very much for joining me today. It is always such a joy and an honor to get to spend this time with you. Be sure to drink plenty of water today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Go in love and light.